As we keep talking about the future of the Quest 3 and even the uncertainty of the Quest 2, we're continuing to see the Quest 1 losing more support, and the next thing to go is Beat Saber multiplayer. Beat Saber, the game itself, will continue to work on the Quest 1, but the multiplayer and even the leaderboards could all be getting nixed as soon as the end of this year. This coming as we're hitting the 5-year anniversary of the first Oculus Quest to ever come out. And 2019 was also the same year that Facebook actually bought Beat Games, which is the developer of Beat Saber. There is some slight silver lining, although if you're like me, this will serve you no good, but now Beat Saber for the first time is actually going to support cross-buy between the Quest and the Rift platforms. So if theoretically you are someone who only bought it on Quest 1, has been playing it this whole time, but you have a PC, you could now get it free on the PC side and continue to play Beat Saber through PCVR on your Quest 1. This does mean that would be the only way to reach any sort of updates or any new DLC after that point though, because it also will not be coming to Quest 1, as there also won't be any more customer support. The Quest 1 didn't sell nearly as well as the Quest 2, and the Quest 2 is still the biggest headset in the world. But how do you feel about this? Do you have a Quest 1 that you still use to play Beat Saber multiplayer with someone on your Quest 2 or Quest 3? Both of my parents actually have Quest 1s that I got them for Beat Saber, although they've been sitting for a little while now, so I don't think this news will disappoint them too badly. Although we have no idea when or if the Quest 2 would lose support or get replaced by a Quest 3 Lite, we are seeing a growing list of games now coming to Quest 3 only and skipping the Quest 2, especially when it comes to the big new IPs we're starting to see show up this year on the Quest. This could feel pretty disappointing to people who continue to use a Quest 2 and are trying to hold out and not upgrade to the 3, as we're seeing Alien Rogue Incursion now dropping a teaser showing off an action horror title set in the Alien universe, Batman Arkham Shadow bringing Batman Arkham back to VR by Camouflage, which is the same studio that made Iron Man VR. Laser Dodge, being a room scale mixed reality game, does utilize your environment around you and needs the scans from the Quest 3, so it's only on Quest 3. Starship Home, that turns your living room into a starship layer this year, also only Quest 3. And of course, First Encounters was something that came only to Quest 3 from the start. This keeps us hoping that for people who want a cheaper headset and don't want to invest fully into a Quest 3, that Quest 3S or Quest 3 Lite we've been talking about really is coming and is coming this year. There was speculation that maybe Oculus would actually have their gaming showcase, of course probably renaming it now because they're really trying to kill off that word Oculus, but typically the gaming showcase happens between April or the end of June, and we're starting to come up on June now with still no confirmation that there will be a gaming showcase this year. I'm definitely at the point now when you ask me, should I get a Quest 2? I'm saying hold out and wait, see if they're going to replace it with something, because with all these big names coming to Quest 3 only, it feels like it would be risky to buy a Quest 2 even at the low price of $199 now. If you do want to upgrade to a Quest 3 and you're holding out hope on possibly winning one, we did announce a new giveaway this week of a Quest 3, another BoboVR accessory, but we also dug around and found some other Quest 3 giveaways going on through some other big companies. Synth Riders paired up with Walkabout and Upload VR, all to give away one Quest 3, which for that many companies I feel like it maybe could have been more than one, but hey, it is a chance at winning something free. Masters of Light, a new game that came out, is also giving away another Quest 3, so I'll leave links in the description to all the new giveaways, whether they're from us or other companies, in case you're looking to win. And I know there's a couple more big ones coming this month, so I'll keep you posted in the news about those too. If you were a fan of accessories from Razer, which I wasn't when it came to the Quest 2 ones, they are offering Quest 3 accessories now, basically based on that same Quest 2 lineup that we saw before. Who knows, maybe with the Quest 3's different weight distribution and stuff, these will fit better or feel better, but my biggest qualm with them originally was their high price point. Well, now they've launched the Quest 3 ones, and I actually went and bought them myself on Amazon, although the interface was very quick to ship. It should actually be here by the time this video posts, and we'll be working on a review. The strap itself was going to be a while, unfortunately, on Amazon, but I've ordered both to check them out for you, help you see if you want them or interested in them. Basically, if you missed out on the whole Quest 2 era of these things, Razer pairs up with Meta, paired up with an actual medical company that makes devices that people wear for like sleep apnea masks overnight, wearing them. So people were really excited about the possible comfort that these would bring. I personally found if you were wanting to like lay back or something, the strap was nice because it was soft, but overall it did not distribute the Quest 2 weight well. It didn't feel great on your face. Quest 3 might feel a little different, like I said, but my biggest issue with Quest 3 is honestly battery life, even more so than the comfort of the original strap. And with this not having a battery option, it doesn't really help you there. But the facial interface does look nicer. It looks a little more premium with some sort of slick plastic they put on it. So I'm curious about it. If you want to hang out, watch out for that. Probably this week or next week we'll have a review at least on the facial interface for now. But I'm curious if you see this design, you think this might look better out there, have you went and ordered one? Again, they're not cheap. More and more Meta keeps pushing on their Horizon worlds, although it's getting really confusing now because they've now renamed the OS to Horizon OS. So when you hear the word Horizon, it could mean the OS, it could mean workrooms, it could mean worlds. Or for me, Horizon always just was worlds. A bit beside the point there, but as they're continuing to push this, they're actually dropping a comedy series inside of Horizon with a lot of big names from the comedy industry. Even here on the screen, you'll probably recognize a lot of these faces and names if you keep up with comedy much. The trailer shows a more traditional comedy club style setup within the Horizon world, and this is starting as soon as May 16th with different people in the lineup throughout the coming weeks and months. It's definitely one more reason to consider getting into Horizon for me, although I've said that in so many videos lately and I still haven't gone in, but maybe, just maybe, I'll put one of these on my calendar and actually go watch it in person. We covered this already fully in a longer form video and review, but for those of you who just show up and watch some of the news stuff, I did want to give an update out there in case you were wondering what was going on. BoboVR, a company that's made really great head straps that we trusted, did launch a set of grips recently, and I shared with you in the video those grips unfortunately either were not to their specs or were just not up to the task of holding the actual controller in place, but the controller wanted to slip out in play. I alerted BoboVR to this. Luckily they had sent me a model slightly early, but some units had already shipped. They immediately stopped sale of the grips. They stopped shipping on any of them that hadn't already gone out. So if you are someone out there who ordered yours and you missed that other video, I would use caution for now if you get these grips in, because if you're playing something fast like Beat Saber, you could break a TV, you could hit someone else with a controller because they can slip out, and because there's no longer an ability to use the wrist strap with them, they could fully go flying across the room like they did for me a couple times.
Watch out, John!
So far, it seems like everybody's been really impressed that Bobo immediately stopped this and they are working on a solution. They told me they were hoping to have a solution in a couple days after some emergency meetings that I could share with all of you. I haven't been told that solution yet, but know that if you did have a set of these come in, because I think they're starting to arrive in homes today or tomorrow, take caution when using them if you're going to try to use them, or maybe just don't and hold out and see what Bobo is going to do to solve this. Hugo Barra, the former head of VR at Meta, actually dropped a pretty extensive blog post this week talking about their experience with the Oculus Go back in the day. If you don't know that headset, it was basically an early version of a Quest that was really only more for media consumption, didn't have full room scale VR and all that. But Barra talked about the experience with that and how it was one of the biggest product failures they've ever been associated with, basically because people did buy it, but the retention was really low. People barely continued to use them after the hype wore off, and he was relating all of this to how Apple should think of this with their Vision Pro. Barra goes on to talk about the ads for the Vision Pro and how it's showing a lot of media consumption, although one of the main pillars of the Go was one of the first to be abandoned by most users. It's an interesting read. If you're interested in checking out all of it, I'll leave a link directly to the blog post down below. But basically, it's nice to see some of the former people with experience in this kind of reaching out to Apple and talking about what they can learn from the situation. Although it does seem like Apple more and more is pushing their headset to be the future of enterprise or work, more so than some of the initial things they showed where people were watching movies in it or doing their FaceTime calls in it. And with that vision, it does seem like they may be starting to accomplish that, with a new report saying that more than 50% of Fortune 100 companies are actually already using the Apple Vision Pro. This report coming directly from Tim Cook, the CEO of Apple, so it seems to be pretty reliable that a lot of these big companies are finding ways to use the Vision Pro. Even in the Apple event this morning, although it was mostly iPad focused, they talked a little bit about Apple Vision Pro early on and how companies like Porsche are using this to change what the showroom floors look like, how people could order their cars. Companies are using it for training, even in surgeries already. This isn't things that we haven't seen happen with the Quest line before, but it does seem like with a name like Apple and a premium product like this, maybe we will start to see more traction in that direction. And with that, supposedly Apple has another Vision headset coming next year, 2025, that will be lighter weight than the Quest 3, hopefully negating one of its main customer complaints about its weight on your face. A Chinese website, Wall Street CN, is reporting that looking at the supply chain, they're able to analyze that a Apple Vision not Pro would actually be finalized by this October. Be about 2/3 of the weight of the current Vision Pro at about 400 grams, coming in over 100 grams lighter than the 515 gram Quest 3. This also claiming that a launch date has been pushed from September of 2025 all the way up to June of 2025, and they'd be trying to produce tens of millions of units. So this would have to be the much cheaper version of the Vision if they're producing that many, that they are hoping will really take over the mainstream. And with that, we're seeing more and more uses coming to the Vision Pro as they continue to update it, whether it's making it easier to check out apps, whether you're in or out of the headset, previewing products at home through Best Buy, or other case uses. If you have a Vision Pro, what are you using it for at this point? Or are you forgetting that it's in your driveway and running over it with your truck? It's felt like a slow crawl for a lot of years as we're trying to see VR reach the mainstream, and a new report actually shows that there is more VR players on Steam than people just playing random games on Steam on their Mac. Road to VR helped illuminate some of the graphs that have been coming out that show that it looks like VR headsets have been going down on Steam, but something that they pointed out was that Steam growth has been so fast that it's still more people, it's just a lower percentage of Steam users as more and more people jump onto Steam. And when they show, if you account for Steam's overall population growth, the graph shows it's it's clearly going up rather than looking flat. And now VR itself, even though it's still only around 2%, looking to get past Mac OS and even potentially Linux on the platform. And the closer we get to mainstream is obviously good news for all of us in the industry that love VR and want to keep sharing it out there. What out there right now in VR has you getting back into the headset all the time, playing it more and more? I'd love to know in the comments down below, continue the conversation with you there, but once again, thank you so much for being here with me, and I'll see you in another reality.